Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man. It is my job to go find people that are winning as entrepreneurs and bring the stories. And I got to interview them. I got to ask the questions because you too can make money as an entrepreneur. And I'm so pro entrepreneurship. I feel like everyone should be an entrepreneur. I know it's very controversial, but I think everybody should be an entrepreneur. And I know what someone's thinking right now is, well, entrepreneurship ain't for everybody. It's long nights and all that. I don't care about none of that. I think you need to have a long night at some point. You need to put your brain on something and not be a robot. I don't care if you don't even make any money as an entrepreneur. I think you should figure out a way to have an idea and turn that idea into something, even if it's a hobby or you're a social entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Martin Luther King was a social entrepreneur. He went out, had an idea, and said, I'm going to go build the thing that I see in my head. And today is no different. We have a young man here who has a very interesting story about the Social Proof Podcast. So I just, for my own satisfaction, I'd like to start that story. Dub, what up, man?
How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm
Pleasure
awesome.
to be here, man. Like I was telling you before the thing, man, it's full circle, man.
Tell me about it.
Man, listen, this is definitely the podcast that started everything for me.
Wow.
Literally started everything. I remember this was 2021, not too long ago. I'm on the forklift listening to the Social Proof Podcast every morning, pulling pallets down, unloading trucks, because whenever I first started, it was something that was ingrained in my brain. You was like, you cannot get rich by working a job.
That's a fact.
And I used to be at work hearing this, but I was scared to take that leap of faith. So with you and the gems that you were giving, without even really knowing who I was at the time, just propelling me to go forward and giving me that push and motivation, bro. Like I say, I got to salute you for that and the Social Proof Podcast.
For sure. Thank you, man. Thank you. And I got to edit it because I found out that you can get rich working a job, but you got to be like the CEO of Pepsi or something. You know what I mean? or you have to work the job and take the money and put it into something that's going to allow you to be rich. But for the most part, man, it's very, very difficult when someone else dictates what you do and how much you make.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And yes, I feel comfortable talking about it. Like even in front of Kay. Kay is my assistant. And I'd be pushing her all the time. Do something. Something. Even if it doesn't work out, I think for your character. Like to be able to do something and build it. I'll be super excited about that. So you was on a forklift in 2021.
Yes, sir.
When did you get off the forklift?
July 2021. So May of 2021, that's whenever I first invested into entrepreneurship, man, the scariest thing that I ever did.
What was the business?
Recession proof. I've invested with Marcus, $2,500, right?
$2,500. How much was you making at the job?
$573 a week.
What?
$573 a week. So you could imagine whenever I made that $2,500 investment, how scared I was. I had an ILO card, right? This is if anybody familiar with credit, the ILO card, and we're gonna jump into some credit later, but that card was specifically tailored towards people with low credit scores. So I had to move some funds around to be able to max it out to invest into myself. And that's whenever I said it was the scariest time of my life. I had to sit down with my wife. I was like, listen, in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna be, I get paid. I'm going to be investing into this mentorship. And she was like, mentor, $2,500. Do you know this person? You know all the scamming that's going on online and, things like that. So it was the scariest thing that I ever did in my life. And then from there, bro, like it's been up. So that was May of 2021. July 2021, I put my 2-week notice in and I just left. I just bet on myself. Of course, from the information that was provided in mentorship, the community, and everything else just took off from there, man.
Man, so as I'm listening to the story, you did even invest $2,500. You invested 5 weeks of your life.
Exactly.
Like you had to work 5 weeks
exactly
to invest in some mentorship.
Scariest thing I ever did in my life.
Describe the feeling of fear.
Uncertainty. Marcus would tell you, like I was in his DMs. Like, bro, what all comes with this? Like, are we going to get this? Are we going to get that? Just asking them, you know how it is, man. People, whenever you make that first investment into yourself, I've seen it online before, like as African Americans, we have the dope dealers mentality. I wanted to know, like, how fast can I make this money back? I'm giving you $2,500.
Sure.
Like, bro, how fast can I get it back? So uncertain, scared, nervous. But in every entrepreneur's life, you got to go through that.
Yeah. So in 2 months from that decision, in 2 months you left your job. But why did you leave the job?
So I had been in the community just providing value.
Mm-hmm.
Liquidation of credit cards is a term, manufactured spending. So I was the one in the group that was giving people the game on manufactured spending, how to.
But you didn't know any of this before the mentorship.
I did not know any of this, but it was a lock-in period that I think everybody should go through to where I was big on parlay cards, big into sports gambling, all of these things, but you like $50, $60 a week, that adds up when you're only making $500. So I just went cold turkey and just left all of that alone. And I was like, you know what? I'm invested into growing myself. And then really the main thing that made me really want to leave the job is that I had my second son that was born. And I just having to leave out of the house every day. And like, bro, my wife is at home because of course it's during right after COVID.
Yeah.
And I couldn't leave my king at home every day like that.
Yeah.
So I just waking up and going to work for somebody for minimum wage, I might as well call it, and seeing his face every morning whenever I had to leave, putting him in the hands of my mother, his grandmother, etc. I was like, man, I have to take full responsibility of my responsibilities.
Oh my gosh, bro. And typically having a child isn't typically the reason to leave a job. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason to like leave more in and get some more hours. But you are a different breed.
Listen, everything I do is for them kings, man.
Yeah. How many kids you got?
Three. 6, 5, and 2. You know.
100%.
You know that house ain't no
little
joke.
ones and a 14-year-old.
Come on.
I love them so much, but they drive me nuts.
Come on, man. You see the gray, man. It's you see it, man. Here, listen.
Nuts. But I love them so much. I took my daughter on so we'll have to leave the house sometimes. We'll leave with a sitter and we'll go on a date. I'm like, oh, mommy and daddy's going on a date. So for her birthday, we asked, what do you want for your birthday? She said, I want to go on a date with my daddy. So we went on a date. She got all dressed up and she's like, mommy, make my makeup and all that kind of stuff. And it was just so fly. So yesterday I got home and she said, my wife was like, yo, she been crying all day. And I'm like, why are you crying? She said, because I want to go on a date with my daddy. And I was like, all right, man, let's just go. Where you want to go? She want to go to a little pizza spot. So we went to a little pizza spot. Fast forward. She just so like prissy. She's 4 years old. She's so prissy. And she says, how does a lady eat pizza on a date? I said, oh. So yeah, after this, I'm going home. So
yes, sir.
Moral of the story, you have something to pull you to make certain decisions. And I think people don't have that yet. You know what I mean?
I think, not to cut you off, but I think it's nothing comparable to being a parent. And no shade to anybody who does not have kids, but it's a different type of grind. Your why is much more strong. And everybody always talk about figure out your why. As long as your why is strong enough, you'll go for it. But I think at the top of a why is the kids, man.
For sure.
It's undebatable.
So walk me through some of your successes as an entrepreneur. So you get people personal and business funding?
For sure. So I do offer funding as a service, but my approach is a lot different than most. Okay. I teach people how to fish for themselves because, a lot of people have funding businesses. We charge commission fees anywhere from 8 to 12%, right?
Explain that model real quick.
So because we have direct relationships with internal bankers, we build out a Rolodex of bankers, which I'm going to give you all of the game on how to do that. Yeah. But we build out a Rolodex of bankers. And for the people who don't want to do the work, typically in entrepreneurship, people are lazy, right? So people who don't want to do the work, we get the funding for them. But of course, we charge a commission fee on top of that. So we have bankers that's inside of the bank that we have built relationships with. You got to understand how bankers get paid. This is what nobody really knows until you understand the banking sector.
That's why we're here.
That's exactly why we're here. Bankers get paid off of, one, how much you spend on the credit cards. That's a lot of things that people don't know.
Really?
And secondly, off of how many approvals that they get you. So if I have an entrepreneur or a client that comes in and they say, hey, I want to go for a business credit card with Bank of America, for example. I have a personal rep inside of Bank of America. I come to him, listen, this is my guy, David. He's doing, multi-6 figures, multi-7 figures annually. They want to prioritize you based on your revenue, Because if you're making more money, guess what? You're going to spend more money.
Right.
So whenever you have premier clients, similar to like a Chase, I'm pretty sure you're a Chase premier client, private client, right? You are categorized differently in the banker's eyes. So every time that you spend on that card, that banker makes 0.01%, or depending on like where they at in the totem pole. So it's a banker hierarchy as well. EVPs, which is executive vice presidents, relationship managers, etc. Based on how much you spend, the banker that got you approved for that credit card, he's making money off of that.
I thought it was just customer service.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, you get me approved for a card. Thank you. How's that card going for you? Like, exactly. Make sure you spend X amount of dollars in this period or whatever, you get your return, whatever. But they make money based on how much you spend. Absolutely. So they're incentivized to find people that's going to spend on that card.
That's why they prioritize based on the revenue of the business.
That's fire. Like, why would a banker want to hang out with me?
You see what I'm saying?
This is your job.
Then they're going to push new products to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure you walk into the bank, you may just be going there to make a deposit or whatever the case is, right? Hey, David, how you been? We got a new product available that's not available to the general public. These are the incentives to it, et cetera, reward points. We want you to grab this new card.
Dang. I didn't know the game because I try not to go to the bank often. You know what I mean? I just don't be going. You know what I mean? But this is new information to me.
I make sure everybody eat, man. Because listen, I do two things. One, I ensure that everybody eats. And secondly, I make the banks compete to lend you money.
Let's get into that. Let's just go to get into that. First off, have you gotten yourself funded?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying it because, there's a lot of people that do the funding. And I'm like, so you get some funding? Nah, but I can help you. Like, all right, well, so you've gotten yourself funded. Like, how much?
I funded myself within the first 24 months of me jumping into entrepreneurship. I had funded myself $1.3 million.
What?
As of today, I earn about $2.2 million in funding.
You've gotten access to $2.2 million in funding.
Access to over $2 million in funding.
You have access.
Absolutely.
So if you need to invest in some equipment or something like that, it's $400,000. You can go do it right now.
Listen, Dion, talk to him, man. Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay, so as an entrepreneur, what are some of the things that we need to be investing in? Because I want to paint the picture of the need for this first.
For sure.
And then I want to get into the how-tos. But what's the kind of stuff that you need to get funded?
So I do Section 8 real estate, coaching, personal development, et cetera. But outside of coaching, personal development, et cetera, Section 8 or real estate is going to be my second most profitable thing.
And you use the funding?
Yes, for sure. So we go and get, the name of the game is business credit, right? Yeah. So I always teach my mentees, other people that come across me on social media platforms too, we always want to structure our personal profile, which is very important. It's one thing to have an 800 plus credit score, but you must structure that profile to be able to maximize the funding. So once you get to, let's just say 100,000 on the personal side, that's when we graduate to the business side. Business credit is known for the 0% APR phase, right? 6 months, 12 months, upwards of 18 months with Eline Financial. So we get that money and then we go, and of course, we can't give financial advice, but my particular investment tool is Section 8 real estate.
Okay, so first you help people. Okay, first you help them focus on the personal business, the personal credit side.
For sure. Everything is based upon your personal profile.
I've got a 450 credit score.
Come on, man.
I come to you and I say, like, how can you help me?
I can't do nothing for you, man.
You can't do nothing for me.
I can't do nothing for you. But listen, if you get to around that 650 range, we can push you to some alternative lending because check this out. Some institutions, with you, I'm pretty sure you're well over 800 credit score. If you go into certain institutions, they don't want to have anything to do with you. So there's a such thing called low FICO institutions, the upgrades, the upstarts, the Covos, banks like that. And you got to understand their business model, right? Their business model is based upon low FICO consumers. Why? Because they're basing off of profitability. Right. You're either credit worthy or you're profitable. And that's how the banks are going to see you.
Got it. No, charge you a trillion percent interest, right?
You're going to be paying 30, 40%. But if you got a proven business model, I'm going to say go for it. If you if it's a 450 credit score, a 500 credit score, and you have institutions going to give you some money to invest into yourself, you got to go through that. You got to go through those hard times.
Go for it.
You have to.
Here's the only challenge though. If someone has a 500 credit score, they're probably irresponsible with finances.
For sure.
And if you give them some more finances, they do even dirtier things. And they just become worse off financially. You feel me? So what's the advice that you have for that person?
It's the mindset. And that's one thing that really we can't teach people, because everybody's relationship with money is different.
For sure.
So like, I'm gonna speak on my family, for example. I'm just gonna be all the way transparent. Like whenever I first stumbled upon this information, mentorship, credit, right? Because we hear it all the time. We Black, we supposed to have bad credit. Like I heard that all my life. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Isn't that crazy? That's a joke. That's a running joke for decades.
Yes.
For the community and we laugh about it.
For sure.
Dang.
So I give my.
That's sad.
It's very sad.
How did that become the joke? Like, if you Black, you have bad credit.
Yeah. So my family, I got them fixed their credit up 650, 700s, right? $2,500, $3,500 Capital One card. They never had a credit card with this amount on it. Guess what?
Went crazy.
They went crazy and maxed it out.
What year was it?
2021, 2022.
Okay.
As soon as I got access to
if
information.
It was 2001, they bought rims.
2021.
I'm saying if it was like 2001, 2020.
Oh yeah.
That's where the Black wealth went.
Come on. The rims.
The
buy here, pay here, right?
Come on, bro. With a $200 car.
Come on, man. The Crown Vic. The Crown Vic with that 6-inch list kit. Come on, man. Let's get it.
Come on. So what did they do with the money?
They went on a shopping spree. They didn't invest into themselves. But guess what? The thing that I took full responsibility for was telling them that they had not telling them that they had to pay the money back. It's something that you think that everybody knows, but I think they just thought it was free money. I'm like, that's not how that works.
There's a lot of things you can do with $500. I mean, you can have a night out with your significant other. You could buy some really expensive shoes. Well, really nice shoes are about double $500. You could buy a course where you can learn something for $500. But I have something better for you to do with the $500. I want to meet with you every single morning for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but every morning, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the year. I have information and game that have allowed me to build a successful business, a successful community, and a successful life all the way around. But I want to share that with you. But the only way we can accomplish this is not me selling you a course, not me giving you a one-on-one consultation, because even with that, you'll get the information, but you'll need more. I want to meet with you every single morning. Now, would I meet with someone every morning for $500 for a year? And the answer is yes. Actually, we've been doing this thing since 2017. We have what's called the morning meetup. Every single month, we have a theme, whether it's social media, whether it's motivation, whether it's strategy, whatever it is, we have a theme for the month. And every morning in that month, we have a conversation around that topic. And I am giving a wealth of knowledge, not only myself, but a lot of friends, a lot of people that you see on this podcast, they join every single week. So you need a community of people that you can grow with, and you need a coach. I'm your coach. The Morning Meetup is your community. Go to themorningmeetup.com. It's $499, and I will meet you every single morning for an entire year. Give it a shot. Unbelievable. So you were in the space of helping people with their credit.
Absolutely.
You're not on that anymore right now.
No,
so you're looking for the person that has the credit and
I already have somewhat of an understanding of how credit works, built out profile, etc.
Gotcha. Minimum credit score that you work with today?
680.
680. So if you got a 680 and you have aspirations to go business credit. Okay. But okay, somebody has a 680 credit score. So you got to fix your credit. Go watch another episode on how to fix your credit and pay your bills, bro. Like, it's crazy. So when someone comes to you, I have a 680 credit score. The first recommendation is to get business credit. Business credit cards? I mean, personal credit cards?
So that 680 is weighted upon many things.
Okay.
A 680 with 15 plus primary accounts is much better than a 750 with 3 primary accounts.
No.
Absolutely. Because check this out. Look at your credit profile as your college transcript.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who went through and took a whole bunch of electives, it's not going to be as much heavily weighted than someone who took AP classes, right?
Gotcha.
So if I have, AP calculus, AP science, quality accounts on my profile, right? Or quality classes on my transcript, you're more prone to lend me money because the difficulty of the accounts. Mm-hmm. So I look at the credit report as the transcript.
Got it. Do you get stuff in your personal name these days?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Bro, that's where I messed up, bro. So when this information first started to come out on a larger scale, where we start getting these interviews about credit and all that kind of stuff, people's like, yo, I do business credit. So I started getting all this stuff in my business name. I got a bunch of business credit cards, cars in my business name, all that kind of stuff. And I struggled really, really bad to get over 750. And I was like, I don't understand why, bro. Like my bills are on time and so all that stuff. But I didn't realize until right now, because when you said I'm over 800, I'm not, first off, for a couple reasons. And I need your help because I got a collections for like $20 from like a doctor's appointment or something like that. And I'm like, it's $20. Like, come on. Right. But it was like from years ago. Anyway. Yeah, so this is new information for me. So even if I'm going business credit, I still need to get some stuff in my personal.
For sure, because whenever you go for a business credit card, 90% of the lending is going to be based off a personal guarantor, which you have to use your social security number. They're going to pull your personal credit before they issue you business credit.
Got it.
That's why that personal profile is so important.
But I did follow that model of personal first, and then I went to business, but I think I went too heavy on business and just stopped getting stuff in my name because I heard some Instagram guru with maybe 1,000 followers that said, don't put nothing in your name, just all business.
Nah,
okay, man. So we got to continue to balance them both.
For sure. I still go and get personal credit cards in my name because you got to think like, if you can go to an institution and they're going to give you, let's just say a $20,000, $30,000 credit card, I don't recommend using your personal credit and maxing it out, et cetera. But you need to show some usage sometime to show the bureaus and show these institutions that you need access to more capital.
Got it.
What happens with most of the people is that they build out their personal profile. Once they graduate to the business, they never use their personal profile or their personal credit card. Yeah. And if you go pull your tri-merge report, you go pull your credit report, you'll see they have a section on there with a recent high balance. If you have a $30,000, $40,000 credit card and then you don't have any recent high balance over the past 6 months, you're not showing that you need access to more capital. So going out, right? And this is where
this is good.
Bro. Yeah. So this is where you have to go and be responsible, of course. I know that you are, but most people that listen to this don't just go and spend the money and not be able to pay it back, but go and put some usage on it. Because if you're not using it, it's called like a credit limit decrease. So they'll decrease your limits if you're not using it in 6-month time span. So I went out and I have about 40 something credit cards right now. I wouldn't recommend anybody to do that, by the way. But based on the credit cards that I do got, we're going to get into different FICO versions, but my FICO 8 is very strong. It's nothing for me to be able to walk into an institution and get any credit card with the maximum exposure.
FICO 8?
FICO 8.
I thought we just have a FICO score.
Come on, man. So you got different versions of your FICO score, right?
That too? I mean, of course you knew that.
You got different versions of your FICO score, right? And it's actually 16 different ones. Whenever you go
okay, how many FICOs you got? She's like, what? I don't know either. Okay, we're in the same boat. Okay, go for it. Golly.
So you have 16 different versions of a FICO score. And depending on what product that you're going for, that's going to dictate what FICO that they pull. If you're going for credit cards, particularly what everybody likes, they're going to go typically for a FICO bank card score 8, a FICO bank card score 2, a FICO bank card score 3. Most people, whenever they're looking at FICO version, they say my experience score is this. Well, if you go for a mortgage, they're not pulling your FICO bank card score 8. That's specifically tailored towards bank cards. If you're going for a mortgage, they're probably going to pull your FICO 5. They're probably going to pull your FICO 2. If you're going for an auto loan, you have a FICO auto score 8, a FICO auto score 2. So it's different versions. And what you said about the collection with the
like a healthcare, it's like a doctor's loan.
That's a FICO 9, right? That's based off a FICO 9 score. Banks are typically not lending off of a FICO 9. So you're probably not getting denials. If you were to go for a credit card,
yeah, I don't get denied.
Exactly. Yeah. Because, I mean, yes, the overall FICO may be like a 750, but they're looking at and they're not lending off of the FICO 9 score. And that's typically where the medical collections are going to be placed upon.
I'm sorry, FICO 9. Your usage of your bank card affects one of your scores?
Absolutely. So your FICO 8. I
don't never use that joint.
You see what I'm, yeah.
You use your bank card?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm talking about your regular debit card.
Oh, no. No, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
You're talking about bank credit card.
Yes, bank credit card.
I got you. Okay.
Yes,
okay, I'm doing something right. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even have a debit card. Like, I just don't use, I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, same with me.
Okay, I got you. Okay. So it's important to get a bank credit card.
You need to have a mixture because remember I
don't have a bank credit card.
You don't have a bank credit? So I'm pretty sure you have a Bank of America, a Chase.
I got 1,000 American Expresses. I got too many Expresses.
How many you got?
It look cool. I don't want to say because you got more than me. Well, okay, I have a personal Delta. I have a personal Marriott, and I have, I think, a personal Hilton.
Okay.
And then I have the business Platinum, business Gold, Delta Reserve.
Okay.
And I think a business Bonvoy.
That's a good lineup. Great lineup.
But I don't have any bank because I'm like, oh, my Amex is good. I didn't think I needed to get a bank credit card.
So with that, you want to build out with multiple institutions, right? And I got some game for you.
You've given me a lot of game already.
Let's get it.
And here's the thing. Some people think when I'm asking questions that I know the answer. And I'm just telling y'all right now, this is new information for me, okay? I'll never front or cap. I just didn't know this stuff. This is crazy.
Yep. So you want to build out with multiple institutions due to underwriting. Okay. So because you have a great relationship with American Express, they'll probably give you anything, right? But if you go to Bank of America, Chase, Truist, right? They also do their own in-house underwriting. So this is what a lot of people skip over whenever they're going for funding, is that they don't understand who the underwriter is. So whenever you say that you don't have a bank credit card, like you're good. American Express is a bank, by the way. They do have checking accounts, etc. But you want to build out with multiple institutions because whenever a new product come out, you want to be in the know of it. When Wells Fargo dropped the Signify card, maybe a little bit over a year ago, whenever a bank release new products, that's when the getting is good, right? So they want to push out higher approvals, higher applications for more people to come and join due to the incentivization of the bankers. So whenever they release new products, you want to be, like I say, in the know of this. So building out with multiple banks and understanding who the underwriter is going to be very important. So I recommend you go, whoever you had the longest lasting relationship with, go and get you a credit card with them, man.
So if let's just say I bank with Bank of America, I should get a Bank of America credit card. And that decision of me using it will affect me trying to go get a house or a car?
It's going to help. And if you're going through Bank of America for that approval, absolutely.
So, okay, right? So they're saying, oh, this person has a bank account with us. They have a bank credit card.
Staying power. So
they wrap me up in their ecosystem.
Absolutely.
And say, okay, yeah, we will give this, we'll approve this person for a house. It's easier to get a car, things of that nature.
And the thing about, so you said you went with American Express on it. They only have 2 credit cards with 0% APR. With business credit, we want to leverage that 0% APR as long as possible. So we're going to jump into some application rules.
Okay.
You go to American Express, the Blue Business Plus and Blue Business Cash. Those are the only 2 credit cards that are going to give you 0% on the business side.
Oh, I just got the cool ones.
You got to go, look, check this out.
The Platinum? bow, go crazy.
Come
you know
on,
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I only got the cool ones.
So you got those, but you got to pay it off every month.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you jump into entrepreneurship, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You will have more failed investments than you do successful investments
That's
in
a fact.
entrepreneurship. I think that's the case for everybody that's an
That's a
entrepreneur.
fact.
So what happens is you need that 0% APR to be as long as possible. American Express, if you start on that personal side, you started there, right?
I started personal, yes.
So every other application and every other approval that came after that, they didn't pull your credit, right?
I don't know.
They soft pull, but they didn't issue you a hard pull.
Okay. I wouldn't even know. I just waited for that email.
Got you. So he said I waited for the email.
Congratulatory, Joy.
I
Let
love
me just scroll down to see the limit.
So whenever you have the credit cards and charge cards are completely different. So the platinum, the gold, those are charge cards.
Yeah.
The Delta that you have, the Marriott that you have, that didn't come with a 0% APR. So every time that you used it, each month it had to be paid off in full. Otherwise, you were going to pay interest.
Yeah.
But if you go for that Blue Business Plus or the Blue Business Cash, what you can do is what they call a credit reallocation. So you can take the limit from your Marriott card and or your Hilton card, move it over to that Blue Business Plus, and then you just combine the limits and the 0% APR.
Oh.
This is so whenever you go for Bank of America and they have 3 different credit cards, guess what I do? I'll go and grab one credit card, 0% interest for 12 months, leverage it, pay it off. I go for another one, right? But then I'll transfer the limit from the old card that's not 0% APR and now move it over to the new one. And I just open up another credit card with 0% APR and combine the limit.
I see, which makes sense why you have 40 because you're always moving money to free money. I mean, not free, interest-free money.
Absolutely. And that's how you do it with multiple banks. So application rules, Bank of America may have 4 credit cards, right? 0% APR. American Express only has 2. Wells Fargo has 2. Chase has 2. So that's why I say whenever you go to the different institutions, credit unions and or banks, this is why you need to build out with multiple versus just staying with one.
I see. Okay. I'm actually going to do it today.
I love it.
Like really, I'm just going to take some action because I want to build out my portfolio. I just want to be right in all these areas. And there's so many things that you need to do, right? But what you're saying is a really, really good start. So I do want to jump into the business funding side because I don't completely understand that. And I'm a type of person that I'll just, like, I don't pay interest on my credit cards because I just pay them off, right? I'm not a fan of debt. Now, in my house, I still have a mortgage, but like when I buy real estate, my objective is to just pay it off. You know what I mean? But go ahead, bro. So you're about to say something.
Yeah. So listen, why are you in a rush? Just because you don't like the debt? That's the reason why you're in a rush to pay it off. And I know you have the capital, but is that because you don't like to see that balance up there?
Part of it is I don't want to pay interest if I don't have to, right? If the money's gonna sit there, and I just don't want to have to, right? But the other part is, I mean, I just like to keep my overhead as low as possible.
Makes sense. So you may be a premier client, but if the banks don't make any money off of you, they put you in a different pool.
I was going to ask you that because I pay all my credit cards off. They don't get a dime of interest.
You see what I'm saying? So you're not really you're credit worthy, but you're not within that profitable section of how the banks see you. So I always tell people this is like, of course we want to leverage the 0% APR, continue to use it, leverage and grow our business. But sometimes you got to let the banks make some money off of you. Because if they make, let's just say you get a $50,000 loan. I literally just took out a $50,000 loan with Navy Federal. I had no use for it. I have over 800, almost $1 million on the business side, right? I didn't need that loan, but guess what? Because my FICO 5 was low, I had to go and get a product to build that up. So I'm 800 across the board with my FICO bank card score 8. All of the, for credit cards, loans, etc. But when I needed that particular loan or that particular product type on my profile to build it up more. So you got to diversify. But in loans, as you already know, like some loans may have a prepayment early period, right? Like if you pay it off early, they're going to charge you. But you got to allow them to make a couple of $1,000s off of you for them to incentivize you more. Because if they make $2,500 off of you and they just gave you $50,000, well, let's give Dave $100,000. We'll make an addition. So you got to know how to play the game.
Philosophy. Never. You be letting the interest pile a little bit. You just dang. So everybody, you do that too. Why you ain't telling me?
And the interest is not really that, because it's an APR. Everybody get caught up. Oh, I'm paying 17% interest on this. No, you're paying 17% APR. So if you break it down, that's about 1.2% a month.
I see. So the APR is how much you would pay. Let's say let's say you had $1,000, you'll pay $170 throughout the year. But that 1 month would be the 170 divided by 12.
Exactly.
I see.
So allow them to make a little bit of money off of you.
Amex too?
Yeah.
I don't get none of my bread.
Yeah. You gotta.
I'm like, oh, I don't want the balance to roll over and pay interest. But
you got the Plum card, Dave? You got the Plum card?
I have the Plum card. No,
That's 0% interest as long as you pay it off in 60 days. Go ahead and it's a charge card.
I'm thinking the reserve was purple at one point, so I was thinking it's that. That's not the reserve, right?
Nah.
Okay.
It's the burgundy card's Plum, and then it's a charge card, and then you can extend that payment because the gold, the platinum, you got to pay them off every 30
Hold on,
days.
but they do make money from me from that yearly thing. I think my platinum is like $550 a year.
But that's worth it though.
It is,
because you getting a Saks credit, you getting a travel perks, you getting all
Saks credit.
Come on,
do it.
Come on. You don't be using your Saks. Your wife used it for
Bruh,
sure.
No, she didn't know either. I'm trying to figure out.
That Saks credit for sure.
Hold on, I get a credit for like Saks.
You get $100. You get $100 a year.
Really? Does it compound?
So what you?
Or I've been losing it.
You trying to get me into my bag here, but so what you can do is, oh man, they're gonna cancel after this. But what you can do is you can go and buy gift cards, right? Depending on how many platinum cards you got. So I got 3 of them.
Be careful, okay? When you start talking about the gift card play,
no, we ain't gonna do that. So what you do is you take the we take the Saks credit and then we'll go into the store and then we'll buy a gift card, right? And then we'll get the money back and then we stack it up that way. Because you only get $100 a year. You can buy a pair of socks or something out of Saks for $100.
Gotcha. Hold on. Can I see? Okay, this isn't about this. After this, just show me where it's at.
I got you.
I get $100 a year for Saks Fit?
$50 every 6 months. And that's per platinum card that you got. I'm pretty, you got more than one, right?
No, I only have the platinum and I have the gold and then the Delta Reserve.
Which platinum? You got the vanilla platinum, the business platinum, or
business platinum.
A business platinum. Okay. We got to get you that charge swab, bro. We're gonna give you some game after the podcast on that.
I'm about to be lit. All right. Okay. So, okay, let the companies make some money off of me.
For sure.
Got it. So what about the process of going for business funding? And what's the difference between business funding, a line of credit, a credit card? I kind of understand it, but I'd rather you break those down.
Business credit cards is going to be easier than a business line of credit. Everything is based off of documentation. Okay. Right?
Easier to get because of higher interest rate?
That too. Okay. So they charge you way more on a credit card than they would you on a line of credit.
Right. Okay.
Right? And then once again, whenever you're asking for a line of credit, they are essentially dropping the money into your account, a checking account, then you can transfer it, do whatever you want to do with it. So that may require more documentation.
Okay.
Business credit cards are going to be personal credit cards, business credit cards across the board. They're going to be by far the easiest product that you can ever get from an institution.
Is that what you recommend for people? Business
starting
credit
out.
Cards?
And then, but the reason why is because you have a 0% APR phase.
Gotcha.
You got time to make some moves and get on your feet.
Yeah. Okay. So after we got the business credit cards, all that, what's your next phase of getting people business funding?
The structure card. This is what we're going to get good at.
A structure card?
A structure card.
Isn't that a credit card though?
No. So it is a credit card, but if you go out and you get your first $50,000 credit card, most people are going to be ready to invest right away, right? Mm-hmm. We said earlier that majority of the time, whenever you're in entrepreneurship, what happens is you have more failed investments than successful.
For sure.
If you go out and invest that full $50,000, and the investment don't go your way, now guess what happens? That debt is piling up on you. You can't pay the card back. Now you're in financial trouble. So what I recommend people do is have that first card that you get as a structure card. We're going to go and structure future relationships.
Is that the name of a card, or you're classifying?
I'm classifying as that.
Gotcha.
So we go to the top of the, I would say the diagram would be like Elon Financial. The reason why we go for Elon Financial is because they have 0% interest for 18 months.
Does that have anything to do with Elon Musk?
Nah.
Okay. Nah, you never know. And it might. You just don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But so Elon Financial is going to give you the longest 0% APR. Banks, you want to build a deposit relationship with banks, credit unions, etc., in 90-day cycles.
Okay.
Because they build out quarterly, right?
Okay.
So if I was to go and get 30,000 from Elon Financial Platinum card, what I'm going to do, instead of investing right away, I'm going to structure future rounds. So I'm going to liquidate, right? Even if you got to pay 3-4%, I send you something, you give me the bread back. I eat the 3 or 4%. Yeah. But I'm going to go and make deposits based on my strongest bureau. So if it's Experian, I'll go and set up a relationship with PNC, right? Go and open up a business checking account, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to start making deposits. It looks as if my business is profitable, even if my business is not bringing in any revenue, but the money is coming from that credit card.
Got it.
I'm going to go to American Express. I'm going to open up a business checking account with them, and then I'm going to start funneling money into them over a 90-day cycle. You don't want to drop $10,000 in there at one time. That's the IRS 8300 form. I'm pretty sure, anytime you go and put money into, it take too much time for that.
Yep.
So what we do is we build out deposits to make it look as if our business is profitable. But we're just moving money from that Elon Financial card to these other institutions. After 90 days, guess what? That one relationship has now built out 3 more banking relationships.
I got it. So they're seeing it. I mean, it's totally legal. It's just showing that there's deposits, some motion going in there.
For sure. With a checking account.
Yeah.
They're not going to, and then the thing with PNC, Bank of America, American Express, whenever you're applying for a credit card, they're basing off of that relationship. Of course, your FICO has to be up, your FICO 8 has to be high. But if they ask you for bank statements, they got the bank statements already. 90 days.
That's good. That's good. So is your primary focus helping people get business credit cards?
Primarily, yes.
Got it.
That is why I always recommend people, after the personal profile is structured, that's why I always instruct people to go.
So how are you leveraging the credit cards or how are you leveraging your business funding for real estate?
We liquidate, and then 20% for the investment properties. And then, so I'm big on Section 8 in Atlanta, right? So you got to know it's a chart. You familiar with Section 8 in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm familiar with Section 8, not specifically how it works here.
It's a chart that you look at, and based on the zip code, it may be like N1 through N11. That's based on the payout. So you find you some diamonds in the rough, right? You don't want to go too cheap. Me, because I have the credit, my approach is a lot different. I don't mind going to grab a property for $275,000, put 50, 60 grand down on it for the down payment. But I'm getting quality property, right? So it's nothing to, you literally have people, one, it's not enough vouchers. I mean, it's too many vouchers for the influx of properties that's in Atlanta for Section 8, because you're only within a certain area. And they're going to be fighting over it. Yeah. If you ask, my wife has a good relationship with the people that the inspectors and everything. They always love when the Washingtons come across, because they know that why everybody else is going for 100,000, you got to rehab it. Bro, I got 3 kids. I don't have time to be going back and forth to Atlanta and doing all of that. I'd rather just pay the money up front because I have the business credit at 0%. And then we put people in those properties with the vouchers. So that's how I'm using it.
Okay. What's the most you've taken out of you liquidate a card, but I'd imagine you do it from a card that you got like a 0% interest, or do you just take any card necessarily?
So with the, of course it's 0% interest, but then you can do a balance transfer. Okay. Sometimes people don't have time to, it's other creative ways, manufactured spending, etc. Some people don't have time to be running around to stores, right? So you take that 3% on the balance transfer, and then you can have an overpayment on a credit card. So let's say this, I have an Elon Financial card, $30,000. I have American Express card, and I have $1,000 balance on it. I can get a check from Elan Financial to pay American Express.
Mm-hmm.
Once they pay American Express, I have a negative balance.
You have a negative balance.
So if I have a $1,000 balance and then I paid them $30,000, my balance is now negative 29,000.
Yep.
And then American Express can now send you a check in the mail. Now it's liquidated. That's one way to do it.
Is that legal?
For sure.
Okay.
So it's an overpayment check.
So I have $30,000 on a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying is you liquidate the $30,000. So now you owe $30,000 on that credit.
You owe $30,000 on that 0% interest credit
Do you
card.
liquidate it, take the cash and put it in, or there's like just a transfer between cards?
No, they're going to send a check to American Express and that balance is going to be negative. And then American Express or whatever institution that you choose is now going to send you a live check in the mail. Or if you have a regular checking
that high of an
account,
amount, they'll shoot you a check?
Yes. And then they can either deposit into the checking account that's associated with the payment to that account, or they'll send you a live check in the mail. That's one way of doing it. We're not going to get into the manufacturer spending and everything, but because it's other ways to do it too.
Yeah. So, but we'll take that cat. Let's say in that example, we take the check and we cash a check, and then you put that, let's say $29,000 on a property, which covers the 20% of
20% or whatever. Yep.
Got it.
That's one way of doing it.
And is the goal to pay off that $29,000 over a year, or you just kind of just take whatever?
So with Elan Financial, you can literally go and it's underwriting rules. Elan Financial is an underwriter. You familiar with underwriters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Elan Financial is the underwriter for over 1,300 banks and credit unions.
Oh wow.
Yep. You got.
But they have their own bank.
No. Elan Financial is an underwriter.
But how do you go to Elan Financial to get money? Oh, you go to Elan Financial and they are pulling from other places.
I go to Renaissance Bank. I go to Coosa Valley Credit Union. I go to U.S. Bank, right? And I apply for a credit card for them. Elan Financial is the underwriter.
I see. Okay.
If you go grab the Built card, Wells Fargo is the underwriter. So you got the Built card, but you actually are building with Wells Fargo.
Got it. Okay. Dang, this is good.
I made the banks compete to lend you money, man.
Dang, this is good. And people need funding. You know what I mean? Like some of us have a really good idea and we're going to be financially responsible with the money. But man, what I wouldn't do to get an extra $10,000. I was about to sell half of my t-shirt company for, I think the guy was going to give me $20,000. And we was like moving, we was rocking. And the guy just never gave me the money. Then somebody came across in my life. His name was Robert Gould. And Robert, he was like, bro, you don't need to borrow no money. Just get a credit card. I'm like, well, how do you get a credit card? He said, fix your credit. How do you fix your credit? It just take me through this process, right? And a couple months later, I got approved for a $20,000 American Express card.
Life-changing.
Believe it or not, and this is like really, I was just thinking, man, they don't give American Express cards to Black people. I really thought that, bro. Like I was just so impressed with Amex card, or you got to be a rapper at least, right? And I didn't realize that was the thing that helped me have enough money to really go have my ideas flourish. And then, the rest was just up from here.
See money.
So, exactly. Man, this is awesome, bro. So do you teach people how to do what you do for other people?
Absolutely, man. And that's my thing that I love to do the most. One thing, literally anybody that knows me, they'll say, listen, man, Doug, one thing he gonna do is teach. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a good salesman. What I do is I lead with information. And I'm a big reader, right? We're on a 100-book challenge this year. I'm gonna try to come up close to it as much as I can. I haven't been able to crack it yet, but this year gonna be that year.
How you read 100 books in a year?
I'm just locked in, man. You got to read at least 150 pages a day. And with the 3 Kings that I got at nighttime, we all
you read 100 to 150 pages a day?
Got to, man. Got to.
Audio or reading?
I do both. So I do a mixture of audio. I have some Audible. I actually was listening to Super Communicators on the way over here. Great book, by the way. But then certain books, man, I'm old school, man. I'm an 80s baby, man. So I like to turn them pages. I got to smell that book, man. That's just me.
How fast do you read?
I couldn't tell you how fast I read.
I mean,
bro.
but is it like a page to one of them like a Jim Quick? It's like a scan. Okay, got you.
Going through there, boom, boom, boom. You know, you're gonna pick up what you need off of it. It's not about understanding every word and comprehending every word because it's way too much information.
Yeah.
But if you can take at least half of the page and have a summary of that, you're good to go. And it's therapeutic for me, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I got the 3 boys running around the house. Everybody, let's go get a book. We're gonna sit down. That's quiet time in the house for me, man.
Man. And you are actually raising them truly to be kings.
Absolutely.
Instead of let's all just get our tablet or iPad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Teaching them to think.
We gotta operate differently. You can get what the 99% get, or you can get what the 1% get. That's how I'm raising them.
Man, I love this conversation, bro. What's the ideal person that should reach out to you and say, Dub, I need some help?
You already have an understanding of credit. So your personal credit is already fixed. You have, let's just say, 75,000 to 100,000 in personal credit, and you're ready to go and scale to the next level because you're like, Dub, I'm tired of getting $10,000, $15,000 credit cards, and I want to learn how to start a funding business and teach people, because that's literally what I do. I teach you how to teach because I'm leading you with the information, and there's no lack of information with me. Like I say, I'm reading new books in different categories, how to communicate, how to do different things. Because man, if you look back, when I first started, Herman was one of the first people who put me up on his platform, and I was a nervous wreck, man. Shout out to my brother Haitian
Shouts
CEO.
out to Herm. Yeah,
man, he put me on his platform, and I back was sweating, like I literally couldn't even get a word out without saying all of that. So the person that comes to me literally should have an in-depth understanding of credit, and you're ready to teach the people, because we have a lack of that in the Black community with teaching people.
Yeah. Incredible, man.
My opinion.
I think you're doing an amazing job for the world. So one, thank you for coming by, bro. It's been almost an hour. I didn't even feel like an hour.
No, it didn't, man.
Did it feel that long? Like,
man,
so
I feel like we just got
down.
started, man.
Yo, did we forget anything? Anything we didn't touch on? We touched on a lot.
It's a lot. I'm gonna leave you with this right here. So I want to teach people how to audit the banks, and I'm gonna run through them. If you have any questions, you can kind of stop me. First off, we need to understand what bureau that they use: TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Secondly, what FICO score? Because remember, I told you, whether you're going for a bank card, you're going for an auto loan, or you're going for a mortgage, they're going to pull a different version of your FICO score. Know how to build out each one of those. Installments and revolving. Installments are going to be more tailored towards like mortgages, auto loans. You want to build that FICO score up to be able to maximize the funding. Of course, with FICO 8, FICO bank card score 3, et cetera, you got to have multiple credit cards, revolving accounts, et cetera. Now, from there, what I want everybody to understand is whenever you get these business credit cards, there's 0%, but you got to understand what information they're going to report to the bureaus, because you can be a personal guarantor, but if Chase is telling the rest of the business credit bureaus, Small Business Financial Exchange, the Small Business Scoring System, Equifax, Experian and Telescore, Equifax Small Business Failure Score, all of this information is being reported to them. So you can have an 800 plus FICO, but if they're reporting these high balances to the business credit bureaus, they're going to limit the amount of funding that you get. So in the community, we're trained to, or we're accustomed to getting these business credit cards, maxing them out, et cetera, and then thinking that nobody can't see it. But whenever they go and pull out business credit, our personal profile is clean, but our business credit is maxed out. And I teach these things every other Wednesday on my free webinars.
Oh, love it. Love it. All right. So what's the website? How can we tap in?
Reinventedconsulting.com, or you can text webinar to 864-721-8750. And every other Wednesday, I'm dropping a game.
There we have it, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Dave. It's full circle for me, man.
Oh yeah, dang, he was on a forklift, bro.
On a forklift.
Do you remember them days, bro? Like being ambitious,
Trey,
wanting something so bad.
I don't know if you remember Trey, right? He worked whenever you worked at the kiosk inside of the mall.
Yes.
Trey Snorton. Big Trey, right?
Yeah.
So he used to come in with the Sleepers for Sucker shirt all the time. I'm like, bro, like, where you get these from? He's like, bro, my dog Dave. And then your blow up was just like crazy. So Trey used to be talking about you all the time, and we used to be in there working in that warehouse. And like I say, bro, it's full circle, man. I appreciate you for being an inspiration to me before you even knew who I was, bro.
Man, well, listen, man, you paid me back today. You gave me the information, gave me the game. Listen, do me a favor, man. Let everybody know how they can get in touch with you one more time, and then just leave us with a word of wisdom.
At Dub Washington, DUB Washington on all social media platforms, reinventedconsulting.com, and you can text EAT, because I ain't sure that everybody eats. You can text EAT to 864-721-8750. And my last words of encouragement would be to find your why. Mm-hmm. As long as your why is strong enough, you can get up every day and just propel and be prosperous.
That's a fact.
And everybody eats.
Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming. Y'all, check this brother out, man. Go follow him. If you enjoyed this episode, go send him a DM. Just send him a quick DM. Yo, that joint was fire. I appreciate that. I'm just starting a conversation. Even if he doesn't reply back, just give your own appreciation, man, because he may see it, and I think it's important when someone gives you something, you give them something back. You know what I mean? Sure. And a thank you goes a long way. So absolutely, make sure you reach out to my brother, and also do yourself a favor and go get you some social proof, man. That idea that's in your head, go build it really, really big. But after you become successful, go back to your community and teach your community how you did what you did. It's the only way our community grows. We are out. Peace. You just watched this whole episode. If you like this episode, watch this one right here. Click right here. You're going to like this one if you like the one you just watched. Check it out.